Hey everyone, it's Eric with FirearmTutorials.com, and today we're going to talk about various trigger pull weights across HK handguns. I've got several USPs here with various trigger configurations. So here the USP 45 Compact has just a standard V1 trigger, single action, double action. It's not a match trigger, nothing special about it. Let's go ahead and try and get a double action pull weight. This should come in somewhere around 12 pounds. Which is actually the max this gauge will read. Let's see what we can get here. 11.45, not too bad. Try it one more time. $11.85. So we can get a 3-pull average. $11.9. Okay, so now let's look at single action, which I accidentally just did a moment ago. Be real gentle with this. 4.12. I think I can do better than that. It's so much lighter than double action. 4.13. I feel like I'm not being gentle enough, so I'm going to try this real softly. 4.8. Just get one more reading here. 4.10. So it looks like we're about 4.5-ish with a stock trigger. Alright, so moving on now, we've got the Expert. This is a bone stock factory Expert. I haven't done any work on this gun at all, just like the last one. So let's go ahead and see what we can get. This is a V1 match trigger. See, it's got an over travel screw here. Let's see what kind of pull weight we get off the double action. 10.45, which was less than the standard V1 non-match trigger. Let's try this again. Double action. $10.25. I can tell just from going, keep putting in single action, just from going from recently doing the other gun, I can tell that this trigger is smoother. Once it starts to break, it creeps back much easier than the last one. Wow. 9.14. Let me try that again. $10.1. $10.35. So now let's check single action. Now you remember before we got about 4.7, I think was the best we did. $3.15. $3.11. So we're coming in about a half a pound lighter, maybe a little bit more than that. 3.14. $3.12.7. So just under 4 pounds for the Expert. Okay, so now what I've got is the USP SD. This started out as a standard V1 trigger, and I actually put a match trigger in it myself. Now this gun had a little bit more wear than the other two guns because I fired this a lot more than the other ones, but let's see if we get any variation between a user installed trigger versus a factory installed trigger. So let's go ahead and go with the double action again. Wow, 912. That's the best we've seen out of a double action pull yet. $10.2. I don't think I did a very good job there. $9.15. Do it one more time. Double action. $9.95. That felt like a good pull too. Okay, so let's try and go single action here. I think the number to beat so far is high threes. $3.10. It's about where we were before. $3.12. $3.10. So very consistent on the single action pull. Alright, so moving on to LEM. What you have here is a USP 9, which started out as just a V1. At one point I put a single action, double action match trigger in it and then converted it from there to an LEM hybrid. So everything in here is match with the exception of the parts that make it an LEM. So important to note here is that we have the match trigger reset spring in this guy. So I'll compare that against a light trigger reset spring and see if we see any difference. So we're only going to get one reading here because it's LEM. There's no single action, double action, but I've already cocked it. So let's see what kind of reading we get. $4.13. 413 is the number to beat. $411.9. So it definitely does have a different break than single action, double action. You see it took me a little bit longer to get a reading there. 413. I'll just do one more here. $499. So that's the best we've got for LEM so far. So here we've got the USP 45 Tactical. Again, this started its life as a single action, double action match trigger, which comes from the factory. I decided at one point to make it an LEM hybrid, just like the other gun, although I did retain the manual thumb safety. So let's see what kind of reading we get with this. Now this one has the light trigger reset spring, where the previous one had a match trigger reset spring. So we'll see if we get any difference in the reading. 413, so the break feels about the same on this gun. $415, I feel like I yanked that one a little bit. $411. So I think the match trigger reset spring does help just a little bit. I mean, not much, an ounce or two, but I feel like it's just a little bit lighter. Single action, double action versus LEM. Now in single action, the break is a little bit cleaner than it is with LEM. Obviously that's by design, but I think we got some interesting results here. Let's take a look at the averages of each gun. Alright guys, so that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, let me know, and thanks for watching.